So I was always the person, the content that I created was the person with the answers. I was the person that kids, the adults, that everyone looked to for inspiration if they were going through a tough time. Nile had the positivity, the energy. You know, my message was all about you can choose your attitude. It's a choice. So the positive self-talk, we're going to smash it. We're going to work hard. You know, I was an inspiration. All of a sudden, I wasn't. This is a cool story. So the gymnasts will love this. So I made the high bar final. Bear in mind, it's the last event of the competition. So everyone's finished. They're packing all the kit away in the back gym. And it's just, we're warming up. So it's just me and the top 8 high bar guys.
In the world
at that time. There's 8 gymnasts, 8 coaches. Within amongst these gymnasts, you have Kohei Uchimura.
Not bad.
Epke Zonderland.
He's pretty good.
Cheng Long.
Yeah, he's not bad.
You just had an unbelievable final.
You're 18.
David Beliavsky. Yeah, so I'm Nile Wilsonator, just making his debut. And I remember you could cut the tension with a knife. Like, there were no music on in the back gym. It was silent. And all these coaches and the weird thing was, so a lot of people know this, you can change the tension of the high bar. So you decide how stiff or flexible you want the bar, right. And you can change it. They've got a gauge. So it seemed like every single person had a completely different tension. So every time someone comes off the bar, the coaches are straight in, loosening the cables or tightening the cables, measuring it and stuff. I'm there with Barry. Uchimura gets up, and this will mean nothing to you, and he winds up and does Cassina Coleman connected. None of the world's ever seen him do this. So I just looked at Baz. I was like, Jesus Christ. Then Zonderland gets up, and at that point, he were doing 3 in a row. So I'm here. Just got my GB. I'm chalking up. Just do me nice little warm up. I always did a Kovac and a catch out. Just stuck to the plan. And I just remember marching out thinking, what am I doing here? And then there was that other moment as well when I was watching, before I was about to warm up, they had a television in the back gym, just like that one, and the P-bar final was on. And I had such a surreal experience because for 16, 17 years, I've sat at home watching this competition, and I was sat on a mat watching it, and it just felt normal. And then I had to pinch myself or remind myself that actually I'm in the back gym about to go out and do it. And it was such a crazy experience for me. I remember the year before. I was thinking back to the year before when I was just with Joanna in the living room watching it. We used to do that every single year, watching the World Championship. So I was about to go out. Is that actually
what you were thinking? What am I doing here versus I deserve to be here, I've earned it, I'm going to smash it? What were you thinking? What am I doing here? It's not a criticism.
No, I know what you mean. Part of me, yeah. Not what am I doing? I don't deserve to be here. Just like, wow, this is crazy.
The enormity of
They're just
it,
oh my gosh, what is going on? The same thing in my head. I was very positive. My self-talk was good. Yeah. I was just going to go up and do the routine. You don't get a warm-up in a final. And I was something like 6th or 7th up. So I went into the back gym again to just have another touch. You just hear this massive roar of the crowd. And Cheng Long was first up, but he was the Chinese gymnast. So you can imagine the thing. Anyway, he was doing an amazing routine and his handguard snapped. So he was going to do a marker or something, and it ripped off. So the crowd were going mental, and he snapped his guard and he had to go change his guard. Part of me then thinks, well, he's made a mistake and he were a definite medal. So I'm like, gosh, it starts to creep in my mind now, thinking, what if I win a medal?
Process is out the window. You start writing your speech.
We always said said about process, not results. So focusing on the process, and I've always had the best performances when it's just about, I even go to the extent of not even looking at the scores, trying to just go one routine at a time and worry about all that other stuff later. But like, it's difficult in the moment to not let them creep in. So I'm thinking, right, Cheng Long's pung off. That's what medal's out. I qualified in 4th.
There's a chance.
Anyway, I came 4th, and it was an amazing routine.
Arguably as well, if people actually review the footage, I don't know if it's on YouTube, without that step on landing, you'd have got.
Well, yeah, it's always what ifs and buts.
But other people
gymnastics.
say without. The result's the result, and it
yeah.
came 4th in the world at 18, done the Commonwealth Games, won 2 golds, a silver and a bronze. I mean, that year, what year was that?
2014.
2014 wasn't too bad, was it?
I want to lead this on to, it looks incredible. Kids dream of having 1 million subscribers. They dream of being famous. You know, I at 22 years old, I earned money that I couldn't even comprehend earning, you know, previous to that I didn't know what to do with. Success. Now, this was a huge part. I think for my mental health challenges, and I want to kind of wrap it up and talk for the next 10 minutes a little bit about that. We've had a rough time recently. So I'm going to come out and say I have difficulties and ongoing difficulties with anxiety, unfulfillment, feeling lost. You know, the main one is anxiety, and I think straight off the bat, the attention that I was getting. So I was always the person, the content that I created was the person with the answers. I was the person that kids, the adults, that everyone looked to for inspiration if they were going through a tough time. Nile had the positivity, the energy. You know, my message was all about you can choose your attitude. It's a choice. So the positive self-talk, we're going to smash it. We're going to work hard. You know, I was an inspiration. All of a sudden, I wasn't. I didn't have the answers, and I got myself to a place that was so suffocating that I couldn't. A little bit of positive self-talk just couldn't get me out of this. I felt lonely. I felt lost. I felt with the whole attention, it put an extra times 10 pressure on my head with what I was going through with the neck. And I think the neck was the main thing. I'd gone from being one of the fittest athletes on the planet to having spinal surgery, which it was almost like going back to being a baby.
Isn't it, I don't want to interrupt you when you're in full flow, but it wasn't there a sequence of events as well that also included your finger just before the World Championships, that sequence?
Yeah.
Or do you just specifically put it down to the neck?
I think, no, there was a sequence of events, and it's always the case. A lot of people, you know, when sometimes you feel stressed and you'll lose it, you'll scream at Sally.
Getting Rio tickets.
Yeah, like you fully lose lose it, and you'll initially think, God, what's happened today that's really got me in this place? When that's not the case. It will have been a series of events that have built up over time. So that was the case for me. I think the neck was the tipping point. You read in the book, it was like the opposite of the Commonwealth Games. That was the tipping point. But you're right, I missed out in the European Championships after the Commonwealth Games because of my neck. Right, 3 days before we fly to Worlds, I snapped ligaments in my finger, decided not to go. So all that time, my identity is being the successful gymnast, and I love performing, I love it. So I'd have all that time.
As well though, just food for thought, your whole mental state and the challenges that you have that I am living and supporting with you are not just about gymnastics.
No.
They're about relationships as well, health. You know, all your well-being issues are not just 100% about gymnastics, are they?
No. So, I mean, I guess what I do want to touch upon when you're in that, the way I was feeling, you know, if anyone outside of this is experiencing anxiety, depression, you tend to, or certainly what I did, tend to behave a certain way that didn't align with my values. You know, I was doing things that wasn't me. Essentially, that was making me worse. It was a quick fix, or it was, you know, it helped me in the moment, but long term, and I think people will certainly relate to that. What I've now, because I'm sitting here today, we're recording the first podcast, I think I've had around 4 weeks completely off social media, and I made actively, that was part of my recovery mentally for this. I knew that, like I've just explained, I was suffocated by the pressure of everything and trying to be this person with the answers when I didn't have them. So I've had 4 weeks off trying to find myself, doing a lot of mindfulness, meditation, and I've finally got myself, got my health in check. I've been sleeping better. All of these things, I've finally got myself into a place where I'm sat here recording a podcast, wanting to talk about it. We're ready to start vlogging again. The gymnastics is going really well. So I think, can you, the little wins, if you, because I've been there, you feel so stuck and lost that you just want to curl up into a ball in your bedroom and just not, there were weeks where I didn't want to get out of bed, whether I woke up with anxiety and it was, I can't face this. I had feared getting out of bed. But if you can make yourself have the little wins, i.e. go for a walk, go to the gym for an hour, have a healthy breakfast, decide, I'm not going to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning playing games or watching films. I'm going to have a good night's sleep. Those in time, and try and remove some of the behaviours that are maybe not so good for you. Those in time build momentum and kind of snowball into a position where the light is at the end of the tunnel and then you feel happy again. And like I said, it wasn't just the gymnastics, it was all the businesses, the YouTube, the attention, my relationships. A lot of them were very challenging, and even including us, won't we? You know, it's been so hard for you as a, well, you might want to touch upon it for 5 minutes about.
Well, I think the way that I think about this, right, and this is just Neil Wilson's opinion of the world. So people that have a challenge, and it's a real issue, that is a recognised issue, and people that have things like depression, they go and see a doctor, and what the doctor does is, because of the feelings that they have, feelings are chemicals, we know that, right? All of that's out there on the internet for people to see. They support by giving false chemicals. The tablets give false chemicals. From a parent's perspective, and I said this to you in a conversation we had, from a parent's perspective, you just want to put a plaster on it, don't you? When you used to fall over as a lad and you cut your knee, I'd kiss it better and put a plaster on. I'd say, is that all right now? And you go, yeah, that's great, Dad. Let's carry on playing football.
Yeah.
And because of...
Or doing gymnastics.
Or cricket, when you want to do. We'll talk about that another time. So from a parent's perspective, you just want to fix it. You just want to be right. You try to come up with the answers.
Yeah.
For your for your children. You try to live it with you. You try, a natural thing to do is to say to your children, you should do this. Well, it's a very easy statement to make, but without understanding exactly what's going on inside, because the feelings and chemicals that you are producing are not normal. They're not aligned to the normal Nile Wilson we see. We generally think he's different. What's wrong? How do we fix it?
Yeah.
And by trying to fix it, me made it worse.
Yeah.
Arguably, that is something that I am currently living with in terms of my own challenges with this relationship and how you're feeling. And I got anxiety. I have anxiety feelings. You just sometimes you don't recognise them. You suppress them.
Yeah.
We come from a different generation. It's not a criticism of the generation or my parents or my family. It's like you step down in generations. It goes from you'll be all right, sort yourself out.
Yeah.
Just pull yourself together.
Pull yourself together.
And then as it's changed, people are saying, well, actually, no, we need to recognise there are challenges. We need to recognise. So mental health, and there's been other athletes, hasn't there, with mental health challenges. And
I think
the thing that's impressed me the most, just before you start, is the way you've dealt with it and the way you're talking about it now. Because I think the worst case scenario for me as a parent would be if you chose not to talk to me, not to tell me things.
Yeah. One thing, speaking, and I think me telling a story, 2019, the enormity of mental health and how many people are getting behind it, I feel now, I know that speaking throughout this whole process has got me to where I am today, and I will continue to do that. To speak to people I trust, speak to people like you, and not always they're going to understand, but if you can find someone that just has no judgment, you can tell them anything, tell them how you're feeling, and just for them to listen, that in itself is a win. And you feel instantly better. So if people sat at home thinking, I can't, this is inside, just speak. Ring anyone. Like, that is the thing. It's the people around you. The other thing, the wins are just being surrounded by positive, like-minded people. They will bring you up. They will bring you out of this. They will help you. People love people. And it's not even just your family. Like, I love everyone watching this. I want to now put it on myself to raise the awareness of mental health, to talk about it a lot more, to inspire people to do the things that I'm saying, to be inspired by my story, and hopefully we can go more into detail in the podcast. But then another thing you touched upon, athletes. I've been trying to figure this out as well, because you hear so many stories, and particularly the biggest people, the likes of Tiger Woods is a good example. There is so many common mental health issues and addiction issues in athletes, in professional athletes. And I think what I've pinned it down to, or not pinned it down to, what I think makes a huge impact on this is what we do for a living every single day. So I was thinking about it yesterday when I was going for a walk. I do a sport every day that produces chemicals that you're talking about, like dopamine, like adrenaline every single day. Like when I'm about to do a handspring double pike front, first tumble on floor, that has to have my full attention. My heart is pumping. I'm experiencing something that not many people get to do every single day. So you're on this journey and you've got a buzz all the time. You then have success. You go to competitions. You experience winning an Olympic medal, 15,000 people screaming your name. You experience numbers, views, money, cash. When you then break your neck and have spinal surgery, I just I'm just sat here.
Taking the adrenaline away.
It's all gone, you know, it's just all removed. And then also you're always naturally going to plateau, but it's difficult. Naturally you're going to plateau, but it's also difficult when you go on a huge surge upwards to come down, you know, mentally and physically. But I think that whole thing is something to be said. Our lives, day in, day out, produce so many chemicals in the body. So essentially when you've not got that, you try search for it. You try look for it and do different things. And I think that's maybe why athletes are more susceptible. They're not more susceptible. Like everyone has their own demons, their own story. And I think it's been great to be able to share this today on the first podcast.
I just go back to in an aeroplane, the oxygen mask come down.
Yeah, so this is the perfect analogy for me. What do they say when you run out of oxygen in the plane or it's going down? There's an emergency and they drop the masks. What do they say? Put your own on before the person next to you.
Before helping
others, put theirs on. And I think that is what I've neglected recently, is putting my own oxygen mask on.
Yeah.
Helping me, finding me, being happy in myself. And I think regardless of all this, what we're talking about, my number one goal right now today is just to wake up happy and feel amazing every single day.